Let's show them what makes this special. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Occupy Democrats show. I'm Mark Bland.
I am Jason Cole.
And the boss, Jason, the boss
Making waves.
is not happy right now.
No.
That's me. That's Jay. The boss, he's not happy. And when I say the boss, do you know who I'm talking about?
Bruce?
Yes.
Or
Bruce
the other
Springsteen.
boss.
No. It is it is that boss right there.
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode of the Occupy Democrat show is he's having a day.
Yeah.
He's having a day, Jason, because Bruce was attacked
He was.
by our president of the United States, Donald Trump. Now, see, Bruce went on stage, Jason, at a show overseas, and he made some comments similar to the Dixie Chicks. Remember when George Bush was president of the United States?
I think it was like a similar area. I
and
think
then
they were also in Europe.
there was a bad thing that happened, right?
Yep.
And then they went on tour over in Europe, and then while they were over, they were like, we just don't agree with our American government.
Yeah.
We don't agree with the people that
It was,
run the American government.
Natalie Maines, wasn't that?
It was Natalie Maines and the
He
Dixie
was
Chicks.
embarrassed. He's from Texas or something
That's
like
right. They did not like the fact that he was
Yeah.
from their state, and she got ridiculed, chastised. They kicked her band and everybody out of Nashville.
Like
She wasn't even allowed to work and
years.
stuff for years. They turned around later that year and just won 5 Grammys back to back to back to back. Like had one of the best albums of their entire career because of the situation. And I feel like our friend Bruce might walk into the same situation, Jay.
Potentially.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen.
He's a little more up there than the Dixie Chicks in popularity. His
Not any more or any less. At this point in their careers, they're all about the same. They're all up in the atmosphere.
His fan base is locked in, so I don't know if he'll get that.
Well,
back.
yeah, so are theirs
I don't-
25 years later.
I think,
that's what I'm saying.
I guess the difference would be they're on country stations back then.
Well-
He'll be on classic rock stations. So a little more than likely wouldn't pull him off.
Except for nowadays, a
Country, right?
Y98 is going to play the Dixie Chicks song right next to the Bruce Springsteen song. That's
those
going to happen.
Those pop
So,
stations that play 70s and 90s.
With that being stated, though, our friend Donald Trump decided to tear in to this man and
Yeah.
say that if he came back to the United States, maybe he needs to watch himself.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens to him then, or something like that.
Why do you want to pick on music stars? And by the way, what do you care if another person in America, Donald Trump, has an opinion of you? Think about that. How many people in America have had opinions of Donald Trump over the last 10 years? How many? And then we haven't even gotten to the election cycle. Like I'm saying over the last 10 years in general, but during the election cycle specifically, that year leading up to those elections, every single time, millions of people around the world, Jason, are talking good and bad about Donald Trump. I don't understand.
What I don't understand is there's no president in history that has fought with more private citizens of his own country than Donald Trump. Like fighting, like online Twitter wars and calling names. Like, you're the president of the United States. This is beneath the office.
What I had when Barack Obama was president was videos of him and Joe Biden walking together to go get ice cream and shaking people's hands in the National Mall as they just walked to go get ice cream. In fact, the Secret Service tried to stop them at one point.
Yes.
And he even backed them off from the people and was like, no, I'm here to shake their hand, like showing that he's an American president.
Like, I don't remember Barack Obama like calling Hank Williams Jr. names and attacking Kid Rock.
Just because Ted Nugent didn't like Joe Biden, I didn't see Joe Biden out there screaming at the top of his lungs about how Ted Nugent sucks as a person.
Ted Nugent said way worse things about Barack Obama and Hillary.
Oh my God, Ted Nugent says way worse things on a daily basis, and I don't even hate Ted Nugent. Like, guys, I understand freedom of speech. I understand the tenets of it, and I understand that if a person's in another country, they're not running under the guise of Americans' rules at that time. Like, they're wherever they're at, and they're doing whatever they're doing in that place. Now, you might not like it here in America, Donald Trump, and we understand that. We're not, listen, I don't like it when people attack me. Jason, do you like it when people attack you at all? No, nobody likes it when we get attacked for no reason whatsoever. So we're in the same boat as Donald Trump in that regards. But that's also the same boat that now Bruce is in.
Yeah.
He just got attacked for no reason. So whether it's Donald Trump or Bruce Springsteen, we don't care. We just want you to show some kindness and not waste your time with dumb things that don't matter.
No, like I said, it's beneath the office. Fighting with a recording star, like one of the most famous rock and roll singers.
How is this going to benefit you?
Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, right, yeah. Like, what does this lower the cost of anything?
Nope.
No, this is not going to get his spending bill passed because that failed.
Nope.
All of this is just him.
Yep.
That's him. It's his personality. It's who he is.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
And we have to deal with it now on a day-to-day basis here in the United States of America.
What?
And I'm sorry if you guys see me doing that. I might be just a little congested in my throat. No big deal.
That's all right.
Just,
Hey.
little something in the throat, tickle in the throat. You know,
It's a human body, right? They know.
things.
They know.
Now, that's great. But when Bruce comes back to the United States, Don, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. I would just let that man come back to the United States, go back to his house, and you just keep working on your things. Remember, you have a job right now, and your job is really important. Jason, we described this on the last show. His job is super important.
Yes, it is.
Quid pro quo tour. Get something in exchange for something else. Now, if Bruce wants to get back into the United States, I say spin a shiny coin for him. Yeah. Throw a shiny coin into the air and have it spinning around right in front of him. And by the way, then when Bruce does that, Trump will see it and go, I want it. What? Can I have that? Like, and then you can quid pro quo him. Like,
you can have this coin.
Let me come back into the United States for the next hour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you this
dollar.
dollar.
I'll let you do it. I'll let you
this silver dollar. Yeah, he's messing with someone that's far above him. We talked off the air about charitable work. And the difference between someone like Bruce Springsteen and Donald Trump.
Wait, okay. Now, I've never heard the comparisons of charity between a Donald Trump and, say, someone like a Bruce Springsteen, but I can almost... I might go I might go walk out on the plank here a little bit, sir, and I know they've got swords to my back, but... I feel like
it's go ahead. It's not close.
Go ahead.
So we'll do Bruce first.
Yeah, you.
So early in the 80s, Bruce started something called Thrill Hill Foundation. I think it was 87. This foundation has donated over $3 million to different nonprofits focused on medical research, food service, youth programs, human services, and anti-poverty efforts. It also has approximately $5 million in reserve just in case. Just in case. That's not counting what they've given.
In reserve, just in case. Remember, charities get money to turn around and spend them out.
Yeah,
this dude is literally holding in a bank account $5 million to take care of the charities in case things go sideways.
He has the Foundation Incorporation. It's an organization also founded by him, obviously. It's funded about $1.5 million in house repairs for low-income homeowners in New Jersey, where he's famously from.
Well... there you go. He's going to have to get back to New Jersey for that.
He's done things with food banks all over the country, places where he plays. In Phoenix, fans of his raised $20,000 in 24 for something called the St. Mary's Food Bank. I think they said they enabled over 101,000 meals because of him and his fans. They've in previous Phoenix concerts in 2012 and 16 did 200,000 meals each, with him personally donating for each time $10,000. I doubt Donald Trump has donated anything, but we'll get to that. He also donated $50,000 to rebuild the Newark Community Food Bank roof in the 80s, $80,000 to support laid-off 3M factory workers in Freehold, New Jersey, gave over $350,000 in the late 90s for home improvements in Monmouth County, over $10,000 for just one retiree's home.
Now, you seem like you've rattled off quite a few there.
There's a bunch.
Those are on behalf of Bruce Springsteen.
That's
now, if you could give me that illustrious 30 charity list that I know you have ready to give me, because if Bruce Springsteen needs to watch himself and not come back to my country that I run and I own, and remember, I'm the bigliest of all the bigliestest, I definitely have the mostest charities of all the mostest.
Well,
go ahead, Jason, nail him. Nail him. Show everybody how Trump is better.
Trump's is a little more murky. So the New York Attorney General's office sued Trump in 2018 and his 3 eldest children and the Trump Foundation, alleging persistently illegal conduct. The lawsuit claimed that the foundation was used as a personal and political tool, violating laws governing nonprofit organizations.
Wait. Before you go any further, we started off with a list of Bruce Springsteen's charitable actions.
Yep.
And we talked about food banks, and we talked about helping people in their houses in New Jersey, and we talked about all these different things that he has done. You just started the list that I told you, the biggest list of all time. And the first thing on your list you started with was a lawsuit. See, I didn't hear any lawsuits on Bruce's list.
Charities
There's
are
no lawsuits.
They're above board. So $2.8 million from a 2016 Iowa Veterans fundraiser was controlled by Trump's campaign staff to promote his presidential bid and not dispersed by the foundation as required. So he took $2.8 million for a veterans fundraiser and used it to fund will you people voted him in. He used stolen money to be voted in by MAGA idiots. $258,000 was used to settle legal disputes involving his for-profit business, including $158,000 payment to resolve a lawsuit over a hole-in-one contest at one of his golf courses. Apparently, I remember this back then. Somebody had hit it, made it. They didn't pay out, so he used his charity fund to pay this person out. Here's the best one. This is the best one.
Okay.
$25,000 was donated to a political group supporting Florida Attorney General at the time, Pam Bondi, in 2013, while her office was reviewing fraud allegations against Trump University, who in 2016 settled a $25 million fraud settlement in New York. The same case Pam Bondi refused to bring. The Trump Foundation later claimed that this was an error. They accidentally, don't you hate when someone accidentally donates $25,000 to you?
Do you feel that you've heard the word error come out of the Donald Trump side of things more than you should have ever heard it come out? Like, error needs, I'm sorry. I feel that the word error shows up with things associated with the Donald Trump candidacy, administration, plans, everything behind error. The word error shows up quite often, right? Remember, you just said we had a hole-in-one contest, but there was an error and an issue, right? So we had to pay out of this other place because of errors and issues. Constant errors and issues. But with our friend Bruce Springsteen, I didn't hear any errors. I didn't hear any issues. It was just like, the food bank needed money, so we gave the food bank some money so that they could go get food, and then they gave it to people.
And I wonder if people know. If people watching know, do you know why the lawsuit was brought against the Trump University? Why they ended up with a class action lawsuit, the final straw for these people who
I would love to hear right now.
Because they were promised a photo op with President Trump. Well, at the time, candidate Trump. The photo op was a cardboard cutout,
right,
at Trump Tower. So they decided, that was it. Well,
you expected anything else from Mr. Error?
You would think at the time, he's not doing anything. He's not president.
I'm calling him Mr. Error from now on. We just call him Mr. Error.
This is more known, but $20,000 was spent to purchase a 6-foot portrait of Trump at a charity auction. His charity purchased it, and it was displayed at his Doral Resort. And $11,525 was used for sports memorabilia and champagne at a charity gala. This man's corrupt. And to attack someone who's a national treasure, who's not corrupt, who consistently helps others and doesn't ever need to be patted on the back But here's the biggest part. In 2019, the New York judge, Sally Ann Scarpella, I guess, if I butchered that, I'm really sorry. She ordered Trump to pay $2 million in damages to 8 charities for misusing the foundation's funds. The foundation, Trump Foundation, was dissolved. Everyone remembers that, under court supervision, with its remaining $1.8 million in assets were distributed to the charities that he screwed over. And now Trump, his 3 eldest kids, cannot be on a charity board in the state of New York because they're criminals.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that we need to discuss it any further.
No.
We've listed out everything that makes Bruce Springsteen great and
Right?
everything that makes Trump horrible with his charities in comparison.
Nail,
And
coffin.
end of the day, we're going to move on because we can sit here all day long trying to discuss this, but there's other amazing things going on in life right now, Jason. There really is. So get ready for this one, Metro. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on a major case that could impact birthright citizenship and the power of federal judges. At the heart of the case is Trump-era executive order declaring that children born in the U.S. to undocumented immigrants or temporary visa holders are not entitled to automatic citizenship, challenging over a century of legal precedent under the 14th Amendment. Lower courts quickly blocked the order, assuring nationwide injunctions. Now, the justices are weighing whether such broad judicial blocks are constitutional and whether Trump's interpretation of the 14th Amendment has merit. The court appeared divided. Conservative justices questioned the reach of the universal injunctions, but didn't fully endorse Trump's position. Justice Kagan and Justice Sotomayor pressed hard on the potential chaos such a shift would create, while Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned it could turn the legal system into a catch-me-if-you-can scenario. Justice Barrett also raised questions concerning the government's when the government's lawyer, Solicitor General John Sauer, suggested the administration may not abide by the unfavorable lower court rulings. Now, Metro, I've got a video for this. If you can throw that up real quick, I want people to take a look at this conversation.
You're going to be standing up here in the next case saying that Rule 23 is inapt for this circumstance, with this number of people, maybe with some questions that are individual, who knows. So let's put Rule 23 aside, because I got to tell you, that does not fill me with great confidence. How else are we going to get to the right result here, which is on my assumption that the EO is illegal?
That would be a profoundly wrong result, but I think what I would offer is that, very similar to Labrador against Poe, what the court should be engaging here is a balancing of the equitable factors as to the scope of remedial relief, not as to the underlying merits. And our contention that this exceeds the traditional scope of equity that's reflected in the 1789 Judiciary Act, we're overwhelmingly likely to succeed on those merits for all the reasons that are stated in our
Yes,
brief.
I mean, that's a lot of words, and I don't have an answer for if one thinks. And, you know, look, there are all kinds of abuses of nationwide injunctions. But I think that the question that this case presents is that if one thinks that it's quite clear that the EO is illegal, how does one get to that result, in what time frame, on your set of rules, without the possibility of a nationwide injunction?
On this case and on many similar cases, the appropriate way to do it is for there to be multiple lower courts considering it, the appropriate percolation that flows to the lower courts, and then ultimately this court decides the merits in a nationwide binding precedent. You have a complete inversion of that through the nationwide injunctions with the
So,
district
General
courts.
Sauer, are you really going to answer Justice Kagan by saying there's no way to do this expeditiously?
Well, I'll refer to my former answers. Rule 23 provides the tools to do so, multiple injunctions.
But you resisted Justice Kagan when she said, could the individual plaintiffs form a class?
That has never been briefed in the court below. I do not concede that we wouldn't oppose class certification in this particular case. There may be arguments that this case is or is not appropriate for class certification. And
If there were a class appropriate for class certification, you concede that that could resolve the question quickly?
Yes, absolutely.
You concede it could resolve the question quickly through precedent?
Yes, absolutely. It could do so. I mean, we obviously dispute the...
So just on that point...
Okay, that's enough right there. As you can tell, everybody, it's obvious that the people working with Donald Trump, 2 problems. One, they don't understand their own job. See, as a good lawyer, you would be able to look at a situation and attack it from every single angle, every side, because you're going to want to make sure that you're prepped for every argument that they can bring to that topic. You obviously think that these 3 or 4, that these other justices, by the way, Supreme Court justice, not just some lawyer that works for Donald Trump, Supreme Court justice. So they've done your job better than you at a higher level for longer. Okay. They're going, there's 3 other options here. Like, there's other options on the board. You could do these things expeditiously. You're choosing not to, and you're a lawyer. She's basically pointing out, you're a lawyer. You know this is true. You could do this if you wanted to, but you don't want to. You just don't have a plan. Also, did you notice something else that Mr. Sauer said in that little comment to those justices, Jason? He explained to everybody about the 1798 Act of whatever. And it's like, once again, we're going back to a time period where people with 5th grade educations, your forefathers, 5th and 6th grade educations max, when they fought the Revolutionary War. Your 6th grader in 2025, as smart as, or smarter potentially in 7th grade than all of the men and women that were in America. I'm sorry, George Washington and everyone else. It's just statistically proven and true. So you guys keep going back to these old things, right? I got to get the Alien Invasions Act of whatever, and I've got to get the such a 1700 this act and the 1650 that act, and I got to get the 1701 that act, and it's like, yeah, time periods where dudes who had no clue of what they were talking about or doing just made random comments. Others were just like, okay, just stop listening to Bob. Let's just do whatever he says and go back to our farms. And then everybody did what he said, and they just went back to their farms. Guys, do you not see? They have no plan. It's just we want to run over the court.
Yeah.
They took a 9-0 court ruling about the Kilmar Garcia situation, ignored it completely. The Supreme Court of the United States still, to this day, right now, as this show is on the air, live on YouTube, Donald Trump has still ignored that 9-0 decision.
Yeah, he's still in CCOT.
He is still left him in CCOT. There is no play. Kristi Noem even went in front of everybody and said, he's never coming back at all.
Just took a picture.
So, guys, what I don't understand at all in this situation is how any of this is right. And by the way, Jason, if I could just put a little cap on this, a little icing on this cake.
Do it.
Birthright citizenship is in the 14th Amendment of the United States.
Yes.
It's clearly stated right there that if you are born in the United States of America on land here, that's the rule. Mm-hmm. You are an American citizen. That's it. That's not talking about illegals. That's not talking about their moms and dads and everybody else. No. But those kids, those are Americans just like me and Jay. They are just as American. They're going to go to the same type of schools in their towns, just like me and Jay did, public schools and all. Like, they're as much American as me and Jason and Metro and everybody else is. Everybody at Occupy Democrats. So this idea that this is even on the discussion, the idea that there is hundreds of years of precedent that has proven this to be the way it's supposed to be, Jason, and I've got a 9-0 court ruling by Supreme Court justices that were ignored completely, and they're actually all 9 of them sitting up there and pretending like they are going to hear this when the Constitution on the wall right next to them clearly states right there, this doesn't matter.
What blows my mind, though, is, Republicans always like to say they're the party of Lincoln, but they're going to blow a hole into one of his best achievements is the 14th Amendment. And the reason birthright citizenship exists is because of slavery, because racist white men brought slaves over, and then those slaves had children, and after the war, those children exist here, so they had to become citizens. Now, because of racist, we're going to blow a hole in that. It's this endless, terrible cycle.
What part of Barack Obama was president and you didn't have to deal with a bunch of racism except for the Michael Brown / like
by
that
the same people.
One, but that was a moment that came out of nowhere that no one knew, nothing against Michael Brown. Like, no one knew in St. Louis who Michael Brown was.
Yeah, it was just
we
a
didn't
random
know that
19-year-old.
a police officer from a random department, a municipal department, was going to go do anything. So outside of that situation and how that created a bunch of it in America, but once again, Black Lives Matter already existed. They came to St. Louis. They put up their Black Lives Matter banners. And the minute they did, the police departments and the people from the police departments in St. Louis who disagreed with the idea of Black Lives Matter decided to poke the bear and create Blue Lives Matter. And they did it on purpose. And it created more division. It pushed people apart further. It became a bigger problem. It led to why the Donald Trumps felt like they should run in the first place.
Yeah.
Guys, this is why they're pulling the Derek Chauvin thing that we talked about on the last show. It's always for the same reasons.
Yep.
Create some division off of something that we don't need to, and then make things worse for everybody.
It's all political distraction.
Political distraction for the sake of it. But what I'm saying is Biden, not worried about racial issues. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying that the racial issues don't exist. They do. They do. But you weren't dealing with it on a day-to-day basis in the media during Joe Biden.
No.
Not during Barack Obama.
Not
for the
even
most
really
part,
during-
outside of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not even during George Bush.
Really?
And
No.
those 8 years that he was president. Like, guys, we weren't talking, like Barack Obama's first term, that was first 4 years.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about racism. There weren't racism issues. There was the Tea Party that didn't like he was a black guy that wore a tan suit eventually. So they had a real
That
issue
was
with
quite
that. That
the
was
deal.
crazy.
That
That
was
was way over the
How
top.
we recovered from that
How did
constitutional
we
crisis,
pull off
I
that
will
one?
never know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're worried about birthright citizenship, literally written into the 14th Amendment
Right.
of the Constitution. But on this other one, we were able to get past it just because.
Right? By the symbol of their party. It was his.
By the symbol of their party.
Right?
I don't know what else to tell you guys other than I'm glad that Amy Coney Barrett stood forward and said something, Jason.
Yes.
I'm glad that it's starting to seem like maybe the Trump exhaustion is wearing even on people within his own orbit.
Man. Well, and they've seen that sour
And they're
quite a bit
starting
in the
to
last
see
year and a
that.
half.
And now with the 9-0 ignored and all
Yeah.
these other things. And you saw the look
Yeah,
she
he's-
gave him at the
he's been in front
at the
of
event
them a
at the
while.
at the funeral or whatever it was for
Or no,
Jimmy
it
Carter,
was,
right?
it was the address, the joint address to Congress.
Oh, that's right. His
Yeah.
famous joint. It was just the State of the Union, but it had to be a special joint address to the Congress of different
Well, he doesn't
Congresses
get a State of the
because it's
Union
not
first.
State of the Union.
Yeah.
It's like you gave the State of the Union. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrats show. When we come back, more fun with me and Jason. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
We're back.
We're back. Welcome back to the Occupy Democrats show, guys.
It popped up.
Jason's on. There's Jay.
Hey, look at
Hi,
me.
Jay.
Hey,
There you
everyone.
are. You're there. Welcome back to the show. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. And Jason,
Yes.
did you get yourself a little water? Did you get a little bathroom break?
I did not get a bathroom.
You didn't get a bathroom break, and that's okay.
That's okay. I didn't have to go.
You don't have to.
I did not. Went before I left.
Something else happened, Jason.
Yes.
Since our last show. Somebody went to the beach, Jay.
He did.
Somebody went to the beach, and we're going to have a discussion about this because Jason and me don't necessarily line up on this one for all of you Democrats out there and liberals that just want to hate all of those people that say anything that is not 100% in your pocket. All right, here we go, Jay.
right.
Tell them.
Well, James Comey is back in the news. Remember him?
Yep.
Well, he posted this yesterday on his Instagram. If we could pop that up on the screen,
Possibly.
either in back of me or
Wherever.
over the screen,
It don't
wherever it goes.
It's okay. He posted a picture of
did.
himself at the beach.
It was seashells.
Correct.
Made out to say 8647.
That's
He
right.
posted that on his Instagram, and it says 8647. Well, now MAGA is bigly mad at Comey, and they're calling for him to be investigated and arrested.
Now,
potentially.
why are they mad, Jay?
Well, they think 86 means kill.
it does.
It does not. It means get rid of, get out. It is a restaurant term, and I used it when I DJ'd at nightclubs in the 90s
Sure.
to tell a table, hey, 86 that table. I did not say go kill that table.
Sure.
So most people know it means that, but a lot of MAGA does not. I think they may be confusing it with 187, but they like being stupid enough to vote for a sex-abusing grifter for a second time.
Sure.
So I can't blame them for doing this. But if they've ever listened to gangsta rap from the 90s, they would know that 187 is what they're thinking about. Famously, that Snoop
code for-
Dogg,
yeah,
Snoop code for the police code for murder. But stupid MAGA brains are for liberals, and that's just the way it is.
All right. Well, this liberal-ish person, more moderate, I guess, in certain ways, is going to use his big brain to have a conversation with America. Now, 86 has been in our lexicon for decades and decades and decades. Okay, guys? They used it in old mobster movies in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. They've used it in mainstream pop cultural discussions for a long time. And hey, Jason just said when he would DJ, he would say 86 that table.
They would.
And get rid of
The
it.
doorman would say that.
Now-
too. Hell of them.
86 means to get rid of. It doesn't delineate the way you get rid of. So, yes, your definition 100% applies, Jay. It means to get rid of. Now, the delineation of how to get rid of, 86 in popular culture means to kill, to get rid of it in that manner, to ice it immediately, right? File 13. You guys have heard things like File 13, right? That's another name for a trash can. A trash can is File 13 because nobody goes to File 13. So, now, nobody ever really says that in America too much, right? I just brought it up here on the show. That might be the first time that's been said.
Like a computer term? Is it
No, like
Like an actual
File
trash can?
13. Like you just call a trash can File 13.
really?
So if, Jason, you don't like your computer,
I'm gonna
you
throw it in file 13.
put it in File 13.
I'm gonna 86 it.
You 86 it.
into file 13.
Now, when you 86 it, it won't come back to life. It will stay dead, Jason.
Well, I got rid of it. I didn't kill
But
it.
right, it'll stay gone. It'll stay dead. It'll
I
stay
threw it
away.
in
Now,
file 13.
this does not mean, just because I disagree with Jason on this does not mean that I think that James Comey needs to be investigated or talked to or discussed with. Once again, we're back to what we said about Bruce Springsteen at the beginning of the show.
Well, that's
There's
more
a
of a
lot of people that say a lot of things and post a lot of things, Donald Trump. They're not all nice. They're not all good. We've come on this show. We've said nice things about you when you did the drug prices and made them lower. I've got a bald spot.
Well, he hasn't done it yet.
Everybody
he
knows-
wants to do
Everybody
it.
knows I got a bald spot there. Just letting everybody know. They see it and then they go, "Hey, look at that bald guy." And I go, "Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's part of being
I don't know if they
older.
would.
It's part of being older."
There's a lot of people have stuff.
But at the end of the day, 86-47 is not any worse than 86-46.
There were plenty of them around.
And I saw those T-shirts.
But the difference is I didn't think they meant
those
kill him.
things when Joe Biden was president. And I bet, Jason, that if I went to one of those individuals wearing the T-shirt or selling the T-shirts back then, and asked them, oh, are you trying to say kill Joe Biden? They'd go, oh, no, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. It means blah, blah,
now it
blah.
does.
Now it means,
Yeah.
now it means kill. And I'm like, for me, when it comes to pop culture and mainstream and understanding these things, because I've used that term a million times, I've seen other people use it a million times. I know what they're trying to say. Kill that thing off. Get rid of that situation. Like, let it go. Like, I understand that. But what they're saying is get rid of it permanently. They're saying get rid of it from the situation. Like, it doesn't need to be around the situation. You might look at that as killing. You might look at that as losing their job, being impeached. It could be a lot of different ways you can look at that and formulate that. And I'm cool with that. Like, I understand. But it was done in poor taste. James Comey, come on, bro.
Well, he's not a comedian. I mean,
But James,
you ever heard him talk?
You are part of the FBI. You were the guy in charge of the FBI, like Kash Patel, who dumbly decided today, Jason, to do the one thing we thought was a joke. But he said it out loud today at 3 o'clock this afternoon on a television show. I'm shutting down the FBI building. I am turning it into a museum. And then, do you know what his on all of those Stu Peter podcasts that he couldn't remember the name of Stu Peters
8 times.
8 1-hour podcasts like this one shows, right? I will remember Jason's name every time. Like, it should
Never
be
forget.
hard for him to remember my name or for us to remember Metro sitting right there.
Right.
Shane. Like this is very easy. But on that show, he said a bunch of times, I've got to get rid of that building because they don't do no work and I need to kick them all out of it. And then they need to go do work in other places. Then when he made his comment today about he's going to close the building, do you know what it was, Jason? It's an old building. It needs to be updated. There needs to be a newer FBI building. And that's why I want to 86
Isn't like
the FBI building.
Isn't what he's doing like a spoiled kid, like tearing up his shoes on purpose because he wants the new ones?
Correct.
And mom's like, no, those are just fine. So he's like, oh, look, now they're broke.
But we're back to this same idea. Like, people that work at certain Federal Bureau of Investigations. You investigate things. You look into things. You've heard the term, James, 86 as many times as me or Jason has heard it. You know exactly what you were trying to say. Don't sit there and try to pretend you weren't. We get it. That's why you took the post down.
Well, he took it down. So it's causing
Too
lots of
much. You'll leave all the other posts up. Not
problems. Wait.
that one.
I will prove to you it does not mean that.
one.
Give me that camera.
Okay.
8647. Out. There. Boom. It does not mean anything. There we go. All
That's
over.
Jason Call over there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the man.
Well,
that
according
said
to
that.
Merriam-Webster Dictionary,
According
it
to-
means
that-
it means to get rid of.
We understand you want to turn it into a museum day one. We'll eventually get there, but we're just not there yet. But Jay, I understand.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Because if I sit here any longer and talk about James Comey and all of this, like,
Yeah, he's very
once
boring.
again, it's a dead issue. James, get out of the public limelight. Stop.
Yeah, stay
We're not
retired.
hiring you. Listen, we're not electing you for anything. You're not going to be hired to do anything that we're all looking for. Just walk away into the sunset peacefully. Like, call it
You
a
know,
day, bro.
if it was-
I'm sorry. Just call it a
If
day.
it was a comedian or someone with a little more edge to him in the liberal world, but James Comey is as milquetoast as a person could get.
Right.
He
so,
is so boring and so
So we know he's not looking into these things
Yeah.
any deeper than he knows them. And it's like, okay, I don't like this guy. I want him out. 86,
Yeah,
and
like,
fine. I'll
for
post
him,
it. Sure.
For him, that was like a home run joke. He just because he made it out of seashells. Apparently, he lives off a beach somewhere.
Liberals, I'm going to be honest and tell you, Republican comedians are not very funny most of the time. There have been a few here and there that, have a joke here or there that,
They were
ride
usually
solid.
They were usually funnier before they made the switch, though. Like Jim
Liberals.
Brewer.
Liberals. There are funny liberal comedians. Most liberals, you're not funny either. That's it. Like you. Yeah, no, you, Tom. Tom living over in that county over there. Yeah. Tom, you're not as funny as you think. Those memes aren't as funny. That's why you only get like 2 or 3 likes on them from your friends. You're just not. Hey, listen, you're talking to Mark. I'm on a show right now, literally, and this is like my 10th show of my career. This isn't show number one. I didn't
It's
become
not.
super famous, and now I'm in the Television Broadcasting Hall of Fame for my
Let's put this studio
American
as in a
Bandstand
museum.
level. Like, this is an American Bandstand.
That is not.
I'm not at that level. So, guys, I've been told to my face, hey, Mark, you're not always that entertaining. You're not always that funny. You're not always those things. Sometimes I have to look myself in the face and go, was this good? Was it not good? Does this make sense? Does it not make sense? Hey, guys, I don't always make sense. Jason doesn't always make sense. People don't always make sense. We get it. But there kind of is a line that we see drawn in the sand, and we kind of know where the jokes ride on one side of that line or the other. Well, no. We'll know if it's a good, funny meme or not. You know, like, we'll ride with it. You know what I'm saying? And James, you just weren't there.
Well,
That's-
like this
that's the best I can do.
pairs in comparison to what Kathy Griffin holding up
Oh,
the
yeah,
severed head.
Kathy Griffin holding up the decapitated head.
That's a violent image.
It's a
What
much
he
more
did
violent image.
Is just
And by the way,
a
right
silly,
off the
nerdy
bat in
thing.
his first term on that one.
Yeah,
Just
that
like
was-
this 86 Comey thing
Right?
right off the bat.
it's similar.
This was a first 3 to 4 months of his presidency, and she did that.
and
It's
similar to
like-
the Dixie chick, she suffered about a 2.5 year blowback where she didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah. They call that cancel culture on the right.
Yeah.
We just call that nobody likes you right now.
She's back now though. She's
She's
playing to
back
full
now,
houses.
but sometimes nobody likes you right now.
Yeah, well,
hey,
you just-
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. There's 330 million Americans in the United States of America, plus all those undocumented birthright citizenship kids. Don't forget them. And 76, 77 million voted for you. Is that 25? Is that even 25% of 330 million?
Yeah, that's less.
Okay. Less 25% of the country voted for you. The other 75%, you're just not popular and they
Yeah.
don't like you. That's it. That's
the way it
that's-
goes.
I mean, that's it. Like
But you know,
I'm looking right at the camera. They just don't like you, man. That's it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You do bad things. They notice it. You say mean things about Mika Brzezinski in some morning show. You say dumb things about this music artist over here and the
Yeah.
things that they're doing. You just say dumb things about these people that, by the way, you keep bringing Biden up. The dude's not even in power anymore.
Yeah, he
He's
constantly
literally not
so.
even president anymore. He's now sitting in an old folks home with his wife. They've already come out and said, yes, he was losing this step. Obviously, we had to switch up. There was nothing we could do. And it went the way it went. You won the election. Congratulations. Way to go. But now we're here. 75% of the country, you're just not popular. They just don't like you.
and you know, for any normal politician
it.
that would just roll off their back and they would focus
Sure.
on the work they have to do, not him. He focuses on that 75 or 80% and he wants to punish them.
Listen, I'm going to give Ted Cruz
Yeah?
some love.
Oh, wow.
Right now, Jason. All right?
It's,
Ted Cruz, you are awesome for never, ever worrying about how people think of you. That's
is
it.
true. Yeah, I wonder if he
Like,
does.
even when he went to Cancun, even when the big
True.
things happened, like, it didn't matter what it was. He weathered the storms. They said good and bad about him on both sides. He never came out and was like, oh, baby, nope.
You know,
Nope.
you might be right because this is a man who wouldn't even stick up for his wife.
Yep.
Donald Trump called his wife. Well, he didn't call her ugly. He agreed with a post that said, like, it was a picture of like her and like, I don't know, some animal or something. And he said, yeah, oh no, that makes sense. And Ted Cruz, to respond to that, Ted Cruz did everything Donald Trump wanted for 4 years and still does to this day.
Yeah.
What a piece of crap human
Right.
being.
But he never complained about the way people
No,
complained about him. He
doesn't
never
care about
said,
anything apparently.
hey, this post or that post or this person, that. Nope. He took it like every good politician does on the butt and moved on. Unlike Trump. And
No,
that's
no.
kind of where we're at right now. My next story I've got is Walmart. Jason.
I saw that.
Walmart announced it will begin raising prices at the end of May due to high U.S. tariffs, marking a clear sign that President Trump's trade policies are impacting American consumers. Despite outperforming expectations with a 4.5% rise in U.S. same-store sales, Walmart cited narrow retail margins and tariff exposure, especially on goods from China, as key pressures. Can you please play my video for our friend, the CEO of Walmart?
We had a good quarter in what is an otherwise pretty unpredictable and dynamic environment right now. Our goal, though, we're wired to keep prices low for customers. But the level of tariffs that have been proposed is pretty challenging for all retailers, for suppliers, and certainly our concern is that consumers are going to feel some of that. So we're going to keep prices as low as we can for as long as we can for our customers and members.
Yeah, I have heard from people who shop at Walmart that they're talking about the things that they buy have already went up.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's one lady, a Facebook friend of mine.
We're going to talk about
Yeah,
this. Keep going,
she
keep going.
she
No,
said
no, no. There's a
that
good piece
whatever
there.
this group of stuff she buys it every couple of weeks.
Yep.
Was like $45 more,
Okay.
and that's before what he's talking about.
So, what people don't understand, can I get this camera over here? So, what people don't understand is that me and Jason live in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where the Occupy Democrat show emulates from every single day that we do it. And we are a red state. Josh Hawley's red state. Eric Schmidt's red state. The only blue in the state is the central downtown parts of our major metropolitan cities. So, Kansas City's downtown, St. Louis is downtown, Columbia's downtown, Springfield's downtown, and that's about it. You could say Cape Girardeau, but I'm not sure where compared to Kirksville and other places. That's about it. Everything else around it is red. And in red areas, the minute that they find out there is something that they can use to their advantage to raise prices, they will immediately do it. Now, you might go, Mark, you're a liar. You don't know what the you're talking about. Well, let me show you how I do. Fireworks. You got 4th of July coming up here in about a month and a half. And do you know where a majority of your fireworks are made? They're made in China. Now, you're going to go around and you're going to see prices that are much higher at the fireworks stand this summer than they were last summer and every summer before. And every time you walk up to these people, they're going to say it's because of tariffs. Now, that may or may not be true. The reason it may or may not be is a lot of fireworks companies hold on to old supply and resell it. So this stuff could have been bought last year or the year before, or before Trump, like they could have bought it in December before there was even an announce of tariffs, and that stuff already got shipped by February here, and they already had it. So like there's a lot of different things that go in this, but tariffs were said, and now I have this company that can only make their money in a 2-week period or a 1-month period or whatever, depending on the state or the city that I'm in, right? Now I'm going to say tariffs were the reason for everything. Everything was tariffs. It was tariffs across the board. These were the worst things. Tariffs. Donald Trump did tariffs. Tariffs. I won't be able to say it enough. But my physical prices, I raised just because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because he's saying that, yes, we're going to have it, but we discussed on this show, that's all going to come backwards. That's all going to revert because they already renegotiated the deals.
Yes.
They got the tariffs down to 25, 30% or whatever it was in
30.
comparison to where it was. It was at 20, 25 or whatever it was. So they got the tariffs at 30. So now this is supposed to like slow out. But the original impact is a 3-month, 90-day kind of whirlwind cycle.
Everything's
so
90 days.
It'll all kind of coincide and end at the exact same time come February or July 4th.
Like, have you ever noticed that action movies, they always have 24, 48, or 72 hours?
Yeah.
That's sort of that way with the Trump administration. Everything is 90 days. 90 days. In 90 days' time, we're going to, it's like,
Well,
I just want it one time in an action movie. They have like 3 weeks.
but Walmart, your favorite red state company to go to and shop on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis.
Yeah, they're already higher.
Raising your prices. CFO and CEO have both come out and said this. We're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrat show. And when we come back, we're going to finish it out for you guys, okay? We'll be back after this. was already hot. Welcome back
Already hot.
to the Occupy Democrats show. Ugh. This topic, guys, is one that is kind of close to heart for me and Jason over here.
You know, it's just deflating.
It is. It's disappointing. It's deflating.
For everyone involved.
It's just
All the hard work and
yeah.
everything that was done by these people.
All right. Let's give it to them. Ready?
Do it.
Missouri Republicans have quickly overturned 2 voter-approved, correct, initiatives, abortion rights and paid sick leave, by using a rare procedural tactic that cut off debate, drawing sharp criticism from Democrats and advocates. In November 2024, Missourians here in Missouri passed Amendment 3, restoring abortion rights, and we did. And Proposition A, Jason, we did Proposition A, guaranteeing paid sick leave for over 700,000 workers. This was a decision, bipartisan, between the voters of Missouri to put these into play. Now, there was a lot of back and forth over the abortion thing for the entire time that was on the table and on the block. And it had been tried to chop about a year out before that.
Yeah, they tried to kill it before
We have dealt with them trying to kill it multiple times.
Yeah, they tried to kill it before the vote even happened.
Now, here's the deal. The Americans that live in Missouri spoke from both sides of the state, top to bottom, and said, this is what we feel as a red state, where the majority of us are red state Trump supporters. This is what we feel needs to be a part of our state and what we want here. And then went further and said, these workers on paid sick leave, we need them to have that. That is something we feel is important, and we want that to exist. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason this is a bad deal is because, Metro, do you have that video? Show the video of these Republicans acting the way they act and how this all went down. Yeah, while that's all going on, they just ignored everything people were saying. Look at that. That's a crowd. That's a crowd of people telling you that we voted for this in the state of Missouri. We wanted this. All right, cut that video. We wanted it. Jason, your vote for whatever you put on the ballot that day means nothing
Republican,
to Nick Shore, to Bill Eigel,
nothing.
to all these losers. Losers who do it on purpose. Yeah, I named a couple. There's more of you out there. You're not important. I named the 2 that actually have a name that people know. The rest of you don't matter. What, you wear a red jacket all the time? Don't even know your name. Don't even care. That's how unimportant you are at the state level when it comes to politics and how we run. So to turn your back on my decision, Jason's decision, y'all are barely popular in your own state. We host the Occupy Democrat show to the country, to the whole nation. We speak on all 400 million, 350, 750, 900 million people that live here in the country. We speak to them. You barely talk to that chamber. You should definitely do what every one of us in this state says we want you to do. Jason, your vote means nothing. I'm sorry.
And that's the thing, is it was really a monumental achievement by the state because, like you said, it was a bipartisan. They came together as citizens
together
and cared about one another, cared about women, cared about their wives, their moms, their daughters, their friends, and said, you know what? My party doesn't agree, but I agree. I agree as a human being. I'm going to vote for this access. And then a piece of shit like Nick Shore steps up and goes, hey, I've got a way that we can screw over the electorate and take the will of the people just right away from them.
Now, I will make another comment I've made on my radio shows in the past, and I do feel that this is a truthful comment. There are more Republican that use abortion rights in the state of Missouri than there probably are liberals. And that's because in the state of Missouri, liberals are dwarfed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the St. Louis area is 3 to 3.5 million people. 500,000 technically make up the liberal blue downtown city.
Yes.
2.5 to 3 million are the red Trump supporters and people like that around that city. Do you see? That's what we're trying to say. Like, we live in an area that has rural areas. We live in an area where the voters do speak.
Yeah.
They did, like Jason said, come together in a bipartisan way on purpose to put that to a vote.
Yeah.
We all chose it. And now it's like it doesn't matter if we vote. So now, to the Republicans in the state of Missouri, at the state level, the politicians, your vote doesn't matter to Mark Bland. Your vote don't matter to Jay anymore.
No.
In my book, it doesn't.
No.
Your votes don't matter anymore because you were put there on a bipartisan thing and you still tried to find a way to make it all about Republicans.
Well,
Even when it's everybody on the same team. You're such losers as people. I called you losers.
The whole thing is crap because don't tell me you're pro-life when you want to cut SNAP benefits. You're not for vaccines. You want to cut Medicaid and Medicare. You're pro-birth. You're pro. I think if I say I'm against abortion, it's going to make me a good person. I'm going to look like you know what? It's equivalent to going to church on Easter and Christmas.
It's the equivalent of going to church every Sunday
Right?
and thinking Monday through Saturday you can say the F word and GD to all of your friends and use the Lord's name in vain and get away with it. It's the same. You will be on your knees at St. Peter's Gate for your judgment. Get ready.
Yeah, you know what? That's a perfect analogy because
ready.
You know what, MAGA? You cannot gaslight God.
Yeah,
he
you
knows.
can't gaslight God,
he
bro.
knows why you went to church on Easter, why you went to church on Christmas, and why you feel like this.
What Jason just said, I'll go one step further. As a person who understands religion very well and has done a lot of reading into the books, it is understood that God knows all and already has an understanding of the path of every person. The idea is God's will is what works on earth. So, even that person that got murdered that you don't think deserved to get murdered or this bad problem, whatever it is,
Yes.
that other person was put in their life by God on that day at that moment for that situation. It was already written into the texts. Do you understand? That's what we're trying to explain to you. So you can't gaslight God. There's no way to get over the top of him.
You can't tell him he didn't hear you correctly.
You can't. I'm sorry.
You don't know enough. You don't know
I feel
enough.
like, Jason, they might get a few sound clips out of that last section.
They could.
They just might. They just might. All right. Before we get out of here on the show, Metro, how many minutes I got left? Like 2, 3, 5, 7, 10? Like about 7 or 8 minutes? Okay, cool. Because this one's going to take a minute for us to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready for it. Are you ready for this?
I'm totally ready.
Because this is right up our alley, okay? I don't care who you voted for or who you support. If this happens, America is sunk to a new low. And that is a true statement from me. They have sunk to a new low. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Jason, is reportedly backing a proposal, you ready? For a reality TV show where immigrants compete for fast track to U.S. citizenship.
There's no low. There's
She
no
would
bottom anymore.
even allow government officials to be judges for it. The show is called The American. Of course it is.
Of course it's called that.
And it would have contestants riding around the country on a train, competing in regionally specific contests like log rolling in Wisconsin.
There you go. Do they do that there? I don't even know.
No. Say that again. No. Ask that question one more time,
Do
Jason.
they do that there?
Do they even do that there? Do you see? We live in St. Louis, within an 8-hour drive of Wisconsin and Green Bay.
If you do that,
And
Wisconsin,
we don't
I
even
apologize.
think that you roll logs there. Like when we think of log rolling, we think of like Washington and Oregon and like the Northwest and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like we don't think of down here
a
as
logging
log rolling.
logging area.
Somewhere
Right?
that's got a lot of now we do have a lot of trees in Missouri, and we do have logging within the state of Missouri, different
Yes.
areas, but it's not like it is up in the Northwest and other places like that and up towards like Canada and stuff. Like
Yeah.
They've got massive forests that they're doing this. But the guy who's pitching it is a writer-producer who worked on Duck Dynasty and Millionaire Matchmaker.
Oh.
He's an immigrant himself, and he claims that there's no political ideology behind the show.
Of course.
How can there be no political ideology? How? It's literally about U.S. citizenship. By the way, birthright citizenship,
What's
14th
an aneurysm
Amendment?
feel like? Oh.
14th Amendment. This doesn't surprise me.
No. Like
we
I said.
have a TV show host who loves TV shows.
Yes.
And when someone like this comes along and says, "Oh, you've got a TV show idea for me? Oh, it's a reality show? Oh, it's about citizenship? Oh, it's called The American?
Yeah.
Oh my God, checkbox.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Will it
3,
demean
4.
people and make people in a bad light?
Can I be a special finale guest where I go, "You're fired," and then I
Right.
send them on a boat? Because I want them on boats.
Yeah.
I want to make it feel like Ellis Island's where I
No
shipped them
14th
off from.
Amendment for you.
I sent them back to their countries from Ellis Island because I'm that president.
You
Nope,
know,
that was Teddy Roosevelt. You're not that president.
when you think you couldn't hate these people enough, this happens.
I got something that you're going to hate even more.
Oh, man. I'm going to blow a vessel in
You
my
will
head.
on this one, bro,
Right?
because this one walks into kind of some of the other stuff we'd like to talk about, because an Airbnb host wouldn't give a guest a refund for no hot water. You ready?
Okay, why?
Because it was not included as an amenity in the booking.
Wait, it's not 1910.
The
Hot water is
guest
not an
said
amenity.
It was an assumed amenity. In any event, Airbnb took care of it, and they handled the situation. But there literally is a situation, ladies and gentlemen, in America where an Airbnb guest host decided to look a person in the face and say, you know, I have a hot water heater, and it like does the shower and like the dishes and like everything in the house. That's an amenity.
I
Like
said there
you
was
should
water.
only
I
be
didn't
allowed
say
to
what.
use cold water for everything. Warm
know-
water is useless.
You know, it's 2025. I can remember as a kid traveling on vacations and seeing signs on hotels along the highways, HBO,
Yeah.
pool,
Yeah,
AC.
just those
This
three
was like
things.
1883.
And those three things
But it-
meant a lot back
but it never
then.
said hot water.
And that's in 1983. They
Right?
never said hot water.
Never
1965 never said hot water.
Like the Howard Johnson never publicized, hey, we have hot water, everyone.
We've got hot water all the time. Like we just always got hot water now, and it's just like what? See, America is becoming weirder since Trump became president. Listen, if you want America to get more normal, to get back to what it's supposed to be, don't elect Donald Trump.
Right.
Don't elect Republicans. Elect independents, liberals, and people that are just like, vote the person. Try that.
Right?
Vote
Maybe.
the person. Because if you're one of these people who voted Trump, the person, then you probably live in a trailer. You probably have a trade labor job. You probably are angry at, no. The people that love Trump seem to be the
That's
ones
true.
that feel downtrodden, the ones that feel like the world's not fair, that every black person got the job ahead of them, even though that person has more degrees than you.
Yeah.
So that's why they got the job.
They always leave that one out.
But I'm just saying, like, in general, like, that's
is
where
just-
this is at.
You know, they always said you get Facebook to find out who of your friends are racist. Like Donald Trump exists to see who you know who's just trash. Just a trash human with trash morals,
And
trash ideas.
I know Trump supporters that are not bad people. I do know them. And I do care about people that have voted for Trump. At the same point, that doesn't mean I can't question the ethics of it. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't look at the moral compass of what that means. Yeah. Or, you know, people are more than just one thing. So just because a person votes for Donald Trump specifically, that doesn't mean everything about the person is trash. It can be a red flag.
Yeah, it makes you wonder
to some
why.
people.
Like
it
why
easily
would
could
you,
be.
Why would you vote for him?
Yeah,
You
there
know?
seems like, guys, you didn't get cheaper gas. You didn't get cheaper eggs. You could sit there all day long and go, gas hasn't gotten more expensive. It's still at the same $2.70 to $3 it was when Joe Biden was president.
Yeah, it hasn't went down.
Changed. It didn't go way down. Eggs didn't go way down. Things didn't go way down. Your tariffs went up. Your prices went up.
Yeah.
Walmart is going up.
They just told you.
Everything is going up. You got no benefits from this. I guess the black lady that just puts criminals away for a living, maybe she would have gotten you better prices, and maybe
Life
you
would
would have
be-
had a lot better life. Like,
We'd be better off.
maybe
right
you
now.
wouldn't have people that are being racist openly out there. Maybe Elon Musk wouldn't have given you his heart so much
So
when
kind
they
of him.
won. Do you understand?
It was so kind of him to give the heart out. It's so hard to throw your heart with a bladed hand, too.
Jason,
It's so
I do
weird.
have one important thing to ask
Yes.
before we get out of here on this show. I have no one to thank for them graduating high school or anywhere else.
Not today, I
Do
don't.
you have any graduations
I
that
don't.
we need to
Not
announce?
yet. Not
Okay.
yet. There's one coming, though.
There's
But-
one coming?
Yeah, Missouri, though. We're going until
Who's
June.
this?
So that's my son. My middle son.
Oh, Big E?
Yeah.
Oh, see, on that one, I feel like
But it's not yet. It's not yet.
like
Not yet.
we moved the chairs back a little bit and put a chair here, right? Like, and we put him in the between us, and then we have him on the show. And then at the end of the show, what we do is we congratulate him
We could do that.
as
We could
grown
bring him in.
men, a
Yeah.
part of his life. We
Yeah.
congratulate him
Way
and
to
tell
go.
him good luck.
Yeah.
And like, we take care of him. That's what we can do.
We should do it.
We should do it. All right, it's time for us to get out of here on this episode of Occupy Democrat Show. First off, follow me, Mark Bland, at MarkBland on Twitter. And you can find me on all the other social medias. I go by Mark Bland.
I go by Jason Cole, also on Twitter, but my tag is at Featherbangs.
And there you
'Cause-
go, ladies and gentlemen. And you can always follow us at Occupy
Yes,
Democrats.
you can
This is
see
the
all of this
Occupy
stuff.
Democrats show. You can always follow us at Occupy Democrats. That's going to do it for us. We will see you guys on the next episode of the Occupy Democrats show.